Review of The Bionic Woman, 1976 to 1978. The Bionic Woman, 1976 to 1978, is an iconic TV series that still holds a special place in the hearts of sci-fi fans, especially those who remember the peak of 70s action-adventure television. A spin-off from The $6 Million Man, it was one of the first major shows to feature a female action hero in the lead role. While its time on air was brief, it left an indelible mark on pop culture. The plot. The premise of The Bionic Woman centers around Jamie Sommers, a former tennis pro whose life changes drastically after a near-fatal skydiving accident. Brought back to life by advanced bionic technology, sponsored by the government, Jamie becomes a secret agent with extraordinary strength, speed, and agility, thanks to her bionic limbs and enhanced hearing. However, her transition into this new life is far from smooth, as she struggles with her humanity and identity while trying to balance her missions with a more normal life. The show captures the highs and lows of Jamie's new reality. She's constantly torn between being a normal woman and a superhuman agent, dealing with the psychological burden of the technology that saved her life. Her bionic abilities make her both a superhero and an experiment. The balance between her personal life and her new enhanced reality gives the show its heart and sets it apart from other action-packed adventures of the time. The characters. Jamie Sommers, played by Lindsay Wagner, is at the heart of The Bionic Woman. Lindsay brought a mix of vulnerability, strength, and complexity to Jamie, making her a relatable character even as she dealt with superhuman abilities. Jamie's struggles with her new life and identity were central to the show, creating a powerful narrative for the audience. Other important characters include Oscar Goldman, played by Richard Anderson, the government official who oversees Jamie's missions, and Max, played by Martin E. Brooks, a scientist who aids Jamie with her bionic enhancements. Jamie's relationships with these characters serve as the emotional core of the series, grounding the science fiction elements in human emotion and connection. One of the interesting aspects of The Bionic Woman is its crossover with The $6 Million Man, 1973 to 1978. In fact, Jamie Sommers made her debut on The $6 Million Man before spinning off into her own series. The crossover was a major event at the time, with Lee Majors, who played Steve Austin, the $6 Million Man, appearing as Jamie's love interest. Their relationship formed an important dynamic on both shows, creating a shared universe for the two iconic bionic characters. Eventually, the $6 Million Man would make a guest appearance on The Bionic Woman, adding further to the crossover appeal. Themes. At its core, The Bionic Woman explores themes of identity, humanity, and the limits of technology. Jamie Sommers struggles with what it means to be human when so much of her body has been replaced with mechanical parts. She is often torn between the desire for a normal life and the responsibilities her bionics bring. This internal conflict and the social consequences of her abilities provided a lot of depth to the show, moving beyond typical action-adventure fare. Another strong theme in the show is the exploration of trust, both in others and in technology. Jamie's bionics were designed to help her, but they also placed a burden on her. How she learned to trust others and use her powers responsibly is a thread that runs through the show. Seasons and reboots. The Bionic Woman aired for 3 seasons, from 1976 to 1978, with a total of 58 episodes. While it was canceled after its 3rd season, the show remains a classic. The brief run was enough to cement its legacy, with fans continuing to remember it fondly for years afterward. In the years following the original series, there were attempts to bring the Bionic Woman back to the screen. A TV movie, Bionic Ever After, 1994, reunited Lindsay Wagner and Lee Majors for a nostalgic revisit of their characters. In 2007, a more modern reboot of the series aired, starring Michelle Ryan as Jamie Sommers. The reboot updated the premise for a new generation, though it didn't capture the same cultural impact as the original. It was canceled after just 1 season, but the attempt to revive the series showed that there's still an audience for the concept of a bionic woman. Why it didn't last long. Despite its unique premise, The Bionic Woman didn't last as long as it could have, One reason is the challenges of maintaining a long-running show with a high-budget special effects heavy premise. The focus on bionic technology, though innovative, was also expensive, and the show struggled with maintaining ratings. Additionally, the show's crossover with the $6 Million Man was both a blessing and a curse. While the shared universe gave both shows more visibility, it also contributed to the notion that the two shows were somewhat interchangeable. The crossover events were very popular, but the lack of standalone success for The Bionic Woman made its cancellation more likely. During the late 70s and 80s, there were a number of other shows exploring similar sci-fi themes, such as The $6 Million Man and Knight Rider, both of which dealt with advanced technology and the human side of the cyborg-like characters. However, The Bionic Woman stood out by placing a female character at the center of this narrative, which was relatively rare at the time. The Bionic Woman paved the way for other female-led sci-fi and action series, even though the genre itself was still a largely male-dominated space. Today, we can see its influence in later shows like Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Alias, which combined strong female leads with action, technology, and personal drama. The influence on pop culture. Despite its cancellation, The Bionic Woman had a lasting impact on pop culture, particularly in the realm of science fiction. Jamie Sommers became an iconic figure, and the series helped solidify the idea of the bionic hero as both a tool for action and a symbol of human struggle. The concept of a person enhanced by technology would influence many future superhero films and TV shows. In recent years, the Bionic Woman has been referenced and parodied in various forms, demonstrating its continued relevance. Its status as one of the first female action heroes makes it an important show in the history of television, and Jamie Sommers remains a trailblazer for women in sci-fi and action roles.